and Verdell Smith. I'm Dave Bontempo along with Tony Page. Glad you're with us for what should be a very special evening of boxing.
Buenas noches, damas y caballeros, y bienvenidos al Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, California. Bob Aaron's Top Rank Incorporated, Don Chargan Productions, Telemundo y Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, presentan Boxeo Telemundo Budweiser. Bruce Trampler, matchmaker. Esta es la pelea especial de la noche, peso ligero, 12 asaltos por el vacante título continental de la Asociación Internacional de Boxeo. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our special event of the evening, lightweights, 12 rounds for the vacant IBA Continental Lightweight Championship. President of the IBA in attendance, Cy Young Award winner, Dean Chance. Representing the IBA at ringside, representando la Asociación Internacional de Boxeo, World Ratings Chairman Norm Longton. Judging, los jueces, John Shorley, Marshall Walker, y Michael Tate. El referee, Terry Smith. Los retadores, ladies and gentlemen, the challenger. En la esquina roja con pantalón negro y oro, con 13 victorias, 8 perdidas, 2 empates, 5 de sus victorias por knockout, with a professional record in the red corner of 13 wins, 8 losses, 2 draws, 5 of his wins by knockout, pesando 133 libras at 133 pounds, del este de Los Ángeles, fighting out of the Oscar de la Hoya Youth Center, Manny Castillo. En la esquina azul con pantalón blanco con letras rojas, invicto en 15 peleas profesionales, con 13 de sus victorias por knockout. In the blue corner, he's undefeated in 15 professional bouts, 13 of his wins by knockout, pesando 135 libras at 135 pounds, de Sacramento, California, the current IBA Continental Junior Lightweight Champion, Diego Chico Corrales.
So Diego Corrales and Manny Castillo ready to vie for the IBA Continental Championship. They get their final instructions from referee Terry Smith. Of course, they've been through that in the dressing room. And we are set to go. Tony Castillo would like to reverse some prior bad fortune.
1996 was not a good year for him. Went to the bell 3 times, lost 3 times. But wants to turn everything around, get back on a winning track tonight.
One of those losses coming to Mickey Ward, a guy that's been around for a long time. Castillo will be trying to get inside. Corrales with a bit of a reach advantage, showing the jab and some pretty good movement. He comes in here unbeaten.
Castillo throws a funny jab, Dave. He jabs, but he kind of bends down while he throws it. That leaves him wide open for an overhand right. Let's see if he straightens himself out instead of bending over. So.
And that is a tactic, Tony, that probably drive a trainer nuts.
Didn't we work on this for the last 3 weeks?
Forget the leaning.
Corrales taking a look-and-see attitude right now. Staying outside, popping the jab, but you see him pulling back a little bit in case he sees a punch coming.
1 minute in as Corrales is dominating on the outside with his jab. Good stiff jab there. And Castillo, his last victory came on the last day of 1995, a technical knockout in the 11th round over Roberto Cobos.
Corrales has a nice arsenal of punches, David. Real sharp, brings him back straight, nothing lazy, a little bit of head movement. I like the way he's handling himself so far.
And Corrales has made short work of many of his opponents. 15-0, 13 knockouts. And the longest any of his fights have gone have been 4 rounds.
Now that means you better have a plan B, because if you don't get your guy out of there early, You better have something in your gas tank.
And with this type of a fight, the veteran Castillo, this would figure to be the bout that would extend him, at least on paper, to areas he's never been in. And Castillo does a little bit of the head movement, entertaining.
Corrales very tall, has a nice reach advantage, as you said earlier. He's taking advantage of it, jabbing as he comes in. A lot of fighters throw a jab, don't come in. Nice uppercut by Corrales. Got all the punches, it seems like.
Good hand speed by Corrales. And yet fighting at a little bit more deliberate pace than we've seen in some other bouts from him. Of course, this one's scheduled for 12. That has something to do with it also.
Corrales took a good left hook, and I think Castillo thought he heard him try to jump in there, but Corrales' head cleared up.
Castillo not a big knockout artist, so I think the left hook surprised him a little bit, as well as Corrales. So we've got our battle plan set up. Corrales on the outside, Castillo on the inside. Round one of the scheduled 12-rounder comes to a close.
Look at Diego Corrales. His punches, nice left hook, but they both whacked each other, Dave.
And Corrales was leaning back a little bit on his shot. But here we go, round two, scheduled for 12 for the IBA Lightweight Continental Championship. It was a good opening round for Diego Chico Corrales. On the outside, using his jab, and had a pretty good sense of the ring in round one, Tony.
I like the way he uses his feet. He's feeling the canvas, up on the balls of his feet, using the jab and pulling back when he has to. Castillo has to come on under a little bit, get under that jab, try and whack the body. No body shots really yet in this fight, and if you're planning to go to distance, you should wear a guy down by going to the body.
And we'll see if Castillo indeed can get inside, bob and weave, and work his way into good punching room against Corrales.
I like Corrales, throws his jab and comes in behind it. Very simple tactic in boxing, but a lot of young guys don't do that. You got to jab forward.
Especially guys with good knockout records, Tony, often abandon their jab. They have the hook, they have the good straight right hand, and sometimes forget what got them there.
Everything works off the jab. That's as old as the sport. Just use it, and so many other things happen off it.
As we get into the second half of round one, round two, it's been more of the same. Corrales is out on the outside, using his jab well. Good right hand behind that. Fights unfolding at the Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, California. Nice combination there by Corrales. He got the short right hands going behind the jabs.
Castillo is keeping his hands too low. He's just asking to be whacked. What he needs to do is pull back a little bit, get out of range, reset himself, but come forward. Just don't stand there.
And at least if Castillo is going to take a chance inside and leave his hands down low, be firing at the same time, which he wasn't doing there.
You're just waiting, and you're in the other guy's power range. You wind up getting hurt.
Castillo happy to trade here, but it is Corrales who would have more of the gunslinger reputation. Far more knockouts in his fights.
Look at Corrales, very subtle, sets himself, backs up, see where his man is, and then he starts his offense.
You can see that he is used to stopping guys because he has the arsenal of punches, but showing a lot of poise.
I like it. He's acting like this is the 10th round. Very, very calm, knows what he's doing in there.
So it opens up a little bit in round two as Manny Castillo takes a few more chances against Diego Corrales and gets tagged a few more times. Round two was an interesting one, and we'll be back for the third.
Corrales on the left. Look how he's just looking for the opening. Quick punches, all to the head. Smart fighter.
And did not leave himself terribly open as we start the third round here on Latin Fight Night. Hope you're enjoying it from the Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, California. Dave Bontempo and Tony Page bringing you this fight between Diego Corrales and Manny Castillo. Corrales, a native of Sacramento, California, came in with a 15-0 mark, 13 knockouts. And Castillo from nearby Los Angeles, same state, just one ride up the highway, looking to break what has been a 2-year drought. And you can see, Tony, why he's gotten his victories and why the dry periods have come on Castillo. He's got some abilities, but doesn't always follow through.
No, his game plan isn't right. I would look at a guy like Corrales, as tall as he is. I'm Castillo. Took a good right hand from Corrales. He's trying to get inside. He's not paying attention.
Did he ever? He's going to take the full count here. He got rocked by that shot.
That's what happens when you're careless, when you're inside a fighter's power zone.
And let's see how Corrales warms to this task here. Most of his opponents go during this time. This fight is scheduled for 12, but Corrales has flashed some early thunder again.
At least Castillo knows how to hold.
And he's picked that up in his fights, and here comes Corrales trying to get some room to punch. Being held here by Castillo, who is holding for his survival.
Castillo should be using his legs, backing away, and then holding his man. Don't stand there, try to slug with a guy after you've been dropped. Not a lot of head movement out of Castillo, just standing right in front of Corrales.
And Castillo has abandoned the holding tactics. Gets a good jab in.
Good quick punches by Corrales.
Well, Castillo's senses are back in this fight at least, although he takes 3 more shots, shakes his head. Corrales trying to do more damage and pushes him to the floor. They will not rule that a knockdown. It was almost a kneel, which could have been a standing 8 right there.
I think Corrales put a little pressure on his neck and just pushed him down.
Castillo was probably on his way to taking that on his knee, but gets a break there. He's also got a problem underneath his left eye. So a terrible 3rd round for Manny Castillo, and a big one for Diego Corrales, who has come in and flashed the typical power, which has led to his knockout record.
Castillo needs to turn this into a brawl, Dave.
And he may not have the guns to do it. Diego Corrales, a whole bunch of knockouts, trying to work on another one.
Corrales has 13 knockouts in 15 fights. Good right-hand power. Right on the button, down he went.
Almost had 14 knockouts with that shot. Textbook, as he wasn't looking just for that right hand. He set it up nicely with the left-hand speed. And we are into round 4. Welcome back to Latin Fight Night. The IBA Junior Lightweight Continental Championship on the line. Diego Corrales and Manny Castillo. A knockdown for Corrales in round 3, but Castillo able to shake that toward the end of the round, and at least has his senses back here in the beginning of the 4th.
Castillo has a funny offense. He just stands in front of his guy, drops his hands, does a little shake with his head left and right, but doesn't throw punches. Now he's starting to taunt his man. He should be working the jab or just getting inside as best he can and work the guy's body.
It looks like Castillo may have gone to the Jorge Paez School of Theatrics, but not at that ability level here.
That means trying to win without throwing punches.
And the clowning. There's a short, solid left hook by Castillo, who needs to get down to business here.
What I like about Corrales is he takes a right hand. Even though he dropped his man, he's still poised, sticking to his game plan, working the jab, trying to see if he can drop the right hand, not losing his focus, just trying to work him out over.
Well, he had a shot to end it in round 3, but Castillo held and was able to get past the problem and last the round. So as Tony suggested, Corrales now on the outside in round 4, going back to what worked earlier, trying to set up the next opportunity, and that jab is persistent.
I'd like to see Corrales throw a left hook to the body just to see if Castillo has done his sit-up, see if he's in good shape downstairs, because he's reaching him to the head.
Well, that would be a gut check. Castillo,
he fights like he's about 10 years older. He's I'm sorry, Corrales. He fights like he's 29. He's only 19 years old.
What a lot of poise and a sense of ring generalship by the young fighter. Showing a maturity level, which has enabled him to get to this spot very early on. And Castillo trying to play referee as well. Well, you know a guy is disgruntled when that starts to happen.
You wonder about a fighter in this situation. He's still got, what, 8 rounds to go, and he's like, well, gee, I don't think I can knock this guy out. Let me see if I can frustrate him. But it's hard to frustrate a guy who's whacking you, and you're on the outside. Doesn't seem to want to rush to come in to work the body, which is what he should be working on.
Starting to slow down is Castillo. So Diego Corrales, not with a knockdown here in round 4, but a steady diet of the jab, perhaps his best jabbing round of the fight, setting everything up, and that was what was open to him in the round. We'll be coming up to round 5 now. On our ESPN boxing special, highlights from the 4th. Good jabs and good right hands coming there by Corrales. And we start the 5th. Dave Bontempo and Tony Page. Hope you're enjoying it from the Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, California, where Diego Corrales, the hometown hero in this case, is putting on a very good performance against Manny Castillo.
I have Corrales ahead 40-35. It's a shutout for him. He's just controlling the action. Very smooth for a 19-year-old. Throws great punches. Got a nice future. Castillo has to try and get in there and upset it by trying to turn it into a brawl, but he doesn't seem to have the offensive arsenal to do that.
Castillo has a nasty cut now around his left eye. There was a problem under the eye before, and these jabs are finding their mark and slashing their way into trouble for Castillo. You see Corrales on the outside, double, triple jabs. Takes a lot of discipline to stay in that style.
And what I like about it is he throws the 3 jabs, does a little shuttle back, resets himself, and gets back into the right range. We can throw that left again. Castillo's on the outside, can't figure out what to do. Now, when he gets inside, he tries to turn it into a brawl, but not here. He's saying low blow.
Well, Castillo is trying to be the referee in the last round, saying he was hit low. And in this round here, he gets a very bad gesture with the crowd. The guy's not focused. Definitely not focused, and now he's signaling to Corrales, keep it up. Maybe Castillo wants to get a couple of paychecks tonight. One as a fighter, one as the referee.
I think he just should concentrate on the task at hand. Diego Corrales, a little bit too tall for him, but you don't give up at this point. Try and rush your way in. Obviously, you're not going to out-jab him. You're not going to out-jab a jabber, so get inside and go to the body, but he hasn't done it yet.
Plus, when you see these tall, lanky guys with the jab, and you look at their frame, you wonder if all that weight can hold them up, and a lot of guys with this build do not have good chins, so why not take a shot?
You're absolutely right, Dave. You get in there and see what you can do, but you gotta set some kind of foundation. Maybe you'll go to the body early, then go up to the head, because obviously he can't out-jab this guy. But I don't know what the game plan is. It's stand outside, try and figure him out, then get hit, but he doesn't even counter when he gets hit.
His first objective is to slip the jab, and since he's been unable to slip it, it seems that he just quits on the strategy and then goes in for offense, leaving himself wide open. And Corrales has been cutting him to pieces, literally here, as the left eye opens up and begins to become more of a problem for Manny Castillo. It has been all Diego Corrales in the first 5 rounds of this fight, which includes a knockdown and basically a very good boxing exhibition through 5. Welcome back to Latin Fight Night, and it has been a fine beginning. First 5 rounds for Diego Corrales in the white trunks from Sacramento, California. He's been putting on a boxing clinic against Manny Castillo of Los Angeles. I'm Dave Bontempo along with Tony Page. Hope you're enjoying this from the Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, California.
It dawned on me, Dave. Corrales is working the jab like he's working the heavy bag because he knows the heavy bag's not going to hit your back. So if Castillo's just going to stand out there, he's going to get hit. Just like that. Nice left hook by Corrales.
And the heavy bag isn't really going to move that much either, and Castillo has not moved in this fight. He's tried to make it a street brawl at times. Not a lot of finesse by Castillo here. And the problem, Tony, for him making this a brawl is he doesn't really have the power to go with that.
No, he doesn't. I mean, when you get inside, you may not be able to knock your guy out, but you got to throw a combination here and there would be nice, but he's not doing anything. When he stays outside, he's not firing. When he gets inside, he's not firing. It's like trying that one overhand right repeatedly, but he only has 5 KOs and 13 wins.
And a total of 23 fights for Castillo, so a low power percentage there. And he's not tall enough to get inside and doesn't have the moves to get inside of Corrales. If Castillo is going to create a brawl, he needs a guy a little bit more like him stylistically.
Or maybe somebody shorter.
Yeah. So his team could be, I had the wrong fight at the wrong time.
If I'm Castillo, at this point, I'm trying everything. I'm switching to southpaw. I'm going up on my toes. I'm going to maybe try and beat Joe Frazier. Anything you got in your bag of tricks, you pull it out.
And for him, a good strategy would be to duck, get inside, and try to rip a couple of punches, not just one, but maximize in there.
Isn't it funny how guys who don't have a knockout punch, when they get desperate, trying to turn it on like they've always been holding it?
Tony, he heard you. Castillo ventured into southpaw range for a good 5 seconds.
A little bit too scary for him, I guess. You got to try something different because what he's doing isn't working. You don't want to give up, so you want to try something. It confused the other guy.
He didn't try the southpaw style too long. Gave it a good 5 seconds. But Diego Corrales continues to exploit his natural advantages here with the height, the reach, good jabbing ability, tremendous maturity in this 19-year-old, and basically he's been able to stay on the front end and run the show thus far. And so round number 6, like many of the other ones, going in the column of Diego Corrales. As we come up upon now the halfway mark of the scheduled 12-rounder, and Tony, it has been all Corrales.
Oh, he's just controlling the whole fight from the outside. Even when he comes inside, he's effective. Very, very nice performance by Corrales. He knows what he's doing, not getting frustrated at all.
We'll see if Castillo can make anything of this in the second half of the fight. Castillo coming off 4 consecutive losses. All of them were long, 3 10-rounders and a 12-round fight. He's fought just well enough to stay in fights without getting over the top and winning them.
Corrales just making his man come toward him, which is right to his jab. Nice right hand by Corrales.
Corrales had a knockdown in round 3, and thus would be up by 7 points on our cards.
Yep.
And continuing to excel on the front end. And you talk about all the things that Castillo could try to do to take away. He needs to find out something about Corrales' chin.
You know, Corrales is confusing Castillo now because he spent half the fight working the head. Now he's starting to throw rights to the body and left to the body. I mean, Castillo doesn't know what's coming next. All he knows is he's getting hit.
Finding a guy that has the discipline to fire 2 or 3 punches at a time and then change if need be, but not opening up into too many flurries. Good left hook by Corrales, embellished by Castillo.
And Corrales is not frustrated. A lot of young knockout punches, they don't get you out of there early. They don't know what to do. He's fighting like the fight's another 15 rounds, and I'm going up against somebody who has a cast iron chin. I can't knock him out, so let me just keep throwing my punches.
Based on the way Corrales is fighting, you would never guess that 4 rounds was his longest bout before this. He has gone into uncharted territory very well.
Not breathing heavy. All his punches are still crisp. The jab comes straight back. He keeps his hands up. His legs are still fresh. Ah, youth.
Hey, all these fighters tell us, you know, even though I've been knocking guys out in 4, I always train for 10 and 12, and you always believe it's just a line they tell you, but Corrales is proving, this time at least, that it's true.
Oh, he looks like he could go 20 the way he's very in control. I'm really amazed. I like seeing young kids who go to the old school, as the young people say these days. He's throwing the jab and he's composed.
And showing a veteran skill there, tying up as Castillo got a little bit closer. And so the first round in the second half of the fight is another good one for Diego Corrales, who continues to build his lead, and will have a referee's intervention here as Castillo was looked over. Looks like an adjustment to his glove.
Looks like he's taking a
headbutt. Well, what else can they do to Castillo?
Poor guy.
Can't be any more behind. So what's another point? He needs a knockout anyway. Welcome back to Latin Fight Night at the Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, California. Diego Corrales in the white trunks putting on a clinic against Manny Castillo for the International Boxing Association Continental Lightweight Championship. And what the Continental titles mean in the alphabet soup world of boxing is generally a world rating and some type of standing and lecturing position, lobbying position for a world title bout.
Looking under the left eye of Castillo, he used the terminology as he has a mouse under his eye. Looks like he has mice under his eye. That's awfully big.
They're running wild under there. And that is the product of the persistent jabbing and the accurate, sharpshooting jabbing of Corrales, who has been utilizing his height and very good jabbing skills.
Look at the footwork of Corrales, Dave. He's never off balance, and he's never out of position, never crosses his feet.
He has been sharp and not taking the bait, as Castillo tried to feint him and commit early. He was not going to do that, and here Corrales is getting a little wild, firing over the top, and Castillo doing some type of a hot dog dance that the crowd does not get into.
I guess in some states with that head movement, might have been an even round, I guess.
He was trying to get some influence somewhere.
I think he's gone. I think Castillo's gone through all his game plans, and he's just looking to survive now. I don't know. He should be trying so many different tactics to upset Corrales, but he's just content to throw an occasional jab and try and land that big right hand.
And there it is again by Castillo, the shake and no bake. And all he's doing now when he makes the gestures with his head is alerting the judges that the punches did indeed get in from Corrales.
I like Corrales. It's still smooth. This is the 8th round, but you would think it's the first round. You can't pick a round if you had to say, well, what round are we in if there was no graphics, because he's so controlled, not breathing hard. A veteran. I just like the way he handles himself in there.
You would have expected Corrales to have one down round by this point, maybe one round where he needed to get his stamina back, but he has not hit the stamina wall, despite the fact that in a few seconds he will have doubled his previous long bout. Now, there's a wild right hand by Castillo.
His best of the night.
And then Corrales runs into the referee, providing some more target for Castillo. And for the first time, although for a limited while, Corrales had to get on his bicycle. So Castillo with some fireworks at the end of round 8. Got his best punch of the fight in, Tony.
That right hand, high off the head, but usually you wobble a fighter when you hit him up there, but nothing happened. Corrales in good shape.
I think Castillo might have gotten him just a little bit too high with that right hand, but still an effective blow. So we now go to the 9th round. And Diego Corrales continues to do a fine job on Manny Castillo, who has mathematically run out of time and has 4 rounds left to undo the damage.
And the way Corrales is piling. That's a slip. The way Corrales is piling up the points, Castillo's going to need 2 knockouts to win.
It's a pretty lethal slip, too.
Saw a little thunder behind it, I thought, but...
Pretty good right hand at the same time of the called slip landed by Corrales. Castillo is wild with his shots, and now a shoulder butt. He's getting more sloppy now as he gets tired.
And those can be dangerous fighters when they're not going to follow the rules. I mean, Arias trying to throw that big right hand, but it's a big hand with not a lot of power behind it.
Castillo is trying to force Corrales to lose his cool and open himself up for a counter. And you see Castillo digging the body. And despite the fact that some of these theatrics are unpopular, it's at least given him some energy that he hasn't shown the entire fight.
Castillo should have been going to the body from the first second of the first round to set a pattern to wear down a guy's body. When you have a tall fighter who uses his legs, you work the body, you slow the legs down. Castillo has not done that at all.
Castillo showing why he's lost 4 in a row coming in. He's had some moments in this fight, but long spurts of inactivity. And they have been capitalized upon by Diego Corrales.
I think Castillo, I don't understand why he doesn't throw when he gets inside, because he seems like he knows what he's doing. He just doesn't put enough punches together.
Even if he just throws the jab at the shoulder, Tony, even just something for Corrales to react to. He gets up close and, like you're saying here, does not pull the trigger.
It's a test. If you jab to the shoulder, you make Corrales remember that, even though that's not your main punch.
At least he knows that you'll throw punches when you get there. So the final seconds of round 9. And although it has been at times a more energized performance by Manny Castillo in this round, is it enough to give him the round? Probably not. And he needs more than rounds at this point anyway. In all likelihood, he needs a knockout. And the rounds are dwindling down.
Welcome back, everybody. Look at Corrales just setting himself, looking for the opening. Bang. Nice right hand. Sure, he keeps coming on with his punches and then looks at the situation to see what he's got in front of him.
And shows something you wouldn't expect after a guy lands a powerful right hand. A follow-up straight left after the right hand. So we're into the 10th, and Diego Corrales with all the moves and the angles to thwart and frustrate Manny Castillo.
I always like to look at the teaching aspect of boxing. And what Diego Corrales is doing is his game plan is perfect for so many young fighters. Just watch how this guy first got himself in shape, then learned how to throw a perfect jab. Look at that, straight out, straight back. That's basic right there. And he's doing it just as well as any Hall of Famer.
Straight out, straight back to the chin area so you don't leave it out there. And Castillo does go southpaw for the second time in the fight, although this time with a little bit more time allotted to it. And he eats a straight right hand for his efforts. So Corrales shows he can fight a southpaw.
I feel sorry for Castillo because he's tried everything in his book and there's no sequel, I don't think.
Well, the southpaw stance opened up his own right hand and brought it closer so he can throw a right hook from there. But it also opened him up for the lead right hand, which Corrales was only too happy to pour in there, and the double left hook.
And when Corrales goes southpaw, when Castillo goes southpaw, sometimes he's a little too straight, like right there. You better give the guy an angle, because if you're straight, he can hit you with anything. Doesn't matter if you're trying to be a southpaw orthodox.
And there's a mistake by Castillo coming in, and he immediately goes back to right-handed, takes some other shots. When he was southpaw, he dipped the head as he was bringing his punches back, and he got rocked.
You're just watching Castillo get worn down as the fight goes on. He has nothing to respond. He's not even trying to turn it into a brawl at this point. Taking left jabs, backs up, and does a little wiggle, but he should be at least trying to counter. He hasn't countered at all in this fight. Just tried to get off one right hand after another.
Corrales continuing to do just about everything well. Good snapping jab. He adjusted immediately against the southpaw style, then adjusted back when Castillo returned to right-handed stance. So we come to the end of round 10 here. Dave Bontempo along with Tony Page. Hope you're enjoying Latin Fight Night, and it has been an impressive performance by Diego Corrales. He's only been 4 rounds before this. He's through 2. And we'll be back with more of the Diego Corrales show after this. Welcome back to Latin Fight Night. Diego Corrales all over Manny Castillo. And don't forget our main event coming up next, Yuri Boy Campos and Verdell Smith. I'm Dave Bontempo along with Tony Page. The action coming from the Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, California, and it has been all Corrales.
He's been throwing that left jab, textbook perfect from round 1. Here we are in round 11, and he still gets an A+ for the way he throws it and brings it back to protect himself from any kind of right-hand counter.
Corrales 15-0, 13 knockouts, scored a knockdown in round 3, has looked to be in no particular hurry about whether he wins by TKO or by decision. He's had both options open. He continues to put on the pressure, and referee Terry Smith steps in and stops it suddenly.
Yeah, I really didn't see any devastating punch. Maybe it's just the accumulation from punches from round 1, but I don't know why he stopped it. I guess he figured he had enough.
Terry Smith figuring the pattern continues to show itself here, and not the most timely of stoppages.
There was an earlier round where he got hit with a whole bunch of punches and the referee wasn't anywhere near.
Here's the continued use of the left hand by Diego Corrales, and Terry Smith has just seen enough. It's almost like he's saying this is too much dominance by one fighter. Certainly not a matter of one fighter being hurt.
Diego Corrales desea dedicar su pelea a toda su familia aquí en Sacramento. Ladies and gentlemen, Diego Corrales would like to dedicate his fight tonight to all of his family in Sacramento. Referee Terry Smith paró la pelea. El vencedor por knockout en 41.8 segundos del 11º asalto y nuevo campeón continental peso ligero de la Asociación Internacional de Boxeo, Diego Chico Corrales. Referee Terry Smith stopped about the winner by a knockout in 48 seconds of the 11th round, and new IBF lightweight champion
Diego Corrales getting the congratulations all around. And don't forget, coming up, we've got Yuri Boy Campos and Verdell Smith.